was only one way after last night's announcement that we could begin this programme, and that was by celebrating what has been a career of remarkable achievement and equally extraordinary longevity.
And Debbie DeJoy wins the Triumph Hurdle.
The brave, the generous Native River in front. He's still holding on. He's made every yard. What a run. Native River and Richard Johnson have won the Tomigo Gold Cup. As they race up towards the line, Time Hill is holding him though, with Richard Johnson has won the Ladbrokes long distance.
Very special man, wonderful rider, and a great, great career. David Yates is with me this morning to appreciate much about the sport of horse racing, and you don't have to reach too far into the trusty treasure troves of superlatives when you're talking about Richard Johnson, Dave.
You really don't. The next time you're discussing sport with somebody and there's a player who's overstepped the mark and someone offers, oh, well, I suppose you have to be a bit like that, a bit of a so-and-so, I mean, to succeed in sport these days, remind them of Richard Johnson, a guy who rode 3,824 winners, 23 of those, I think, at the Cheltenham Festival, 2 Gold Cups, 4 Jockeys Championships, 16 seconds behind Sir A.P. McCoy, I'm sorry to throw that in, and was consistently the most polite, modest, cheery person you could ever wish to meet. We were very lucky to do a column with Dickie Johnson for 2 years in the Mirror, from November to April. Just the easiest bloke to deal with. No side to him, no snarling, no temper tantrums, nothing at all. And social media is a nest of vipers. We know that it's very, very rare that when any person who's in the public eye comes up for discussion, that there is unanimity about what a tremendous person we're dealing with. But with Richard Johnson, it's just been an absolute... it's been a pleasure to deal with him. And it was... the fact that he should retire at Newton Abbot after 6 winnerless rides sort of sums up that modest nature, doesn't it? He could have gone out on a big triumph and said, right, that's it, you know, and that's not to criticise those who do, but it was just summed him up. The way that he ended his career was like, you know, it's no big deal, folks. Well, believe me, it really is and was a big deal. What a pleasure to deal with him. I'll just say one thing before we go on, and that's before he got his first jockey's title in April 2016, British Horse Racing had a bit of a drinks do before Sandown. I think it was during that week, and I met Richard's parents, and it was amazing the number of journalists who said to them, what an absolute pleasure it is to deal with your son at the races. And he says, I salute you all. Well, we'll salute you too, because you've brought... the way that you've conducted yourself over a quarter of a century has just been to entirely to the benefit of the sport.
Well, he's listening to you now, because I'm delighted to say that he joins me. Dickie Johnson, good morning.
Morning.
how are you feeling this morning with a night to digest the news that you shocked us with, or shocked me with, last night at Newton Abbot?
I'm not really quite sure, to be honest, but it was just in my own mind, I suppose, building up to Cheltenham. You know, I made a decision, and yeah, do you mean I had a sort of I think after I rode Native River at Sandown when he won, I sort of had that sort of dream that if you know, I thought he could you know, had every chance in the Gold Cup again, and look, he ran really well, and obviously that would have been the dream, to sort of win the Gold Cup and go out, which would have been sort of a you know, way I could have done it, and obviously that didn't happen. Then Time Hill unfortunately got an injury as well, so I just felt that I didn't want to do it at Cheltenham if I hadn't ridden a winner, because whoever, you know, won the Gold Cup, that was their day, and yeah, it was. We sort of tried to do it at Newbury last week, if Kaluki had maybe won the handicap chase, and he didn't. And then last week I spoke to Philip and obviously Dave Roberts, and you know, with Fiona, we just decided that, you know, Newton Abbot was, you know, all the small tracks are probably almost more important to me than some of the big tracks, because, you know, they're where I started, and you know, they've given me so much as well. So it was, yeah, you know, for me it was the right time, and yeah, it was quite an emotional 10-15 minutes when it happened, just because, you know, for the last 25 years, well, 27 years, racing has been, you know, everything to me, and it's given me so much. So yeah, no, it's just it was the right time for me, and yeah, sort of waking up this morning, I'm, you know, very, very happy with the decision, and yeah, I'm amazingly taken, yeah, the messages. I haven't even had a chance to read most of the messages yet, or you know, people have been very, very kind, and like I say, even just listening to you all then, you know, it's yeah, to be honest, sometimes to pinch myself, can't quite believe, you know, the career I've had, and you know, how lucky I've been, and you know, it was almost a dream just to ride a winner to start with, and you know, I can't quite believe how lucky I've been to, yeah, have the, you know, the chance to do what I've loved doing for so long.
I sort of believed, and I spoke to you earlier in the season, and I certainly wasn't trying to lead the witness in any way, but sort of was wondering when the end of your riding career might be. And by the time I'd finished the conversation with you, I was fully convinced that you would in fact go on forever. I was completely convinced that you had absolutely no thoughts of calling it a day. Was it what some jockeys talk about, a moment when they wake up and go, it's just not there anymore? That drive to go to the races has just deserted me all of a sudden. Was it a sudden thing with you or not?
No, I don't think so. I think yeah, just unfortunately, I kind of hopefully realistic enough to know that I couldn't do it forever, and I think it just, for me, it just, as things sort of turned out, it became the right time. You know, it was, you know, I was obviously frustrated and disappointed not to be sort of in contention, you know, with Brian Hughes and Harry Skelton and Harry Cobden for the jockey's title this year, and that's not again a reason. It just, you know, it's just as it happened, and also, you know, unfortunately, I'm 43 now, and my body does ache a bit more than it used to, and you know, I think it just all felt the right thing to do, and also, you know, Fiona and the children, you know, and my parents are starting off, but you know, Fiona and the children have given up so much for me to do, you know, what my passion and what I love doing. You know, they don't get to see me very often, and you know, I feel that, you know, it's time for me to have a slight change of daily routine, and hopefully, you know, I'm looking forward to that as well. So it's all positive. There's no negative or no hopefully you know, downside to this. It's just, I want to, you know, I've had such a fantastic career, and I want to celebrate it, and almost, yeah, move on to the next chapter, and still hopefully be really involved in racing. And you know, I've got so many friends, you know, whether it's jockeys, trainers, owners, people in the media, do you mean, and generally, you know, just race goers that say hello to you, and you know, it's the whole package has been, you know, for me, absolutely fantastic, and I just feel very lucky to actually have had what I've had, and for me it was the right time. The only slight, my brother-in-law retired on the same day, and I probably took away slightly from that as well. We ended up as it's strangely just did it on the same day. So but again, for me it was the right time, and actually Newton Abbot it felt the right place as well.
So it's just something in your heart, in your gut. You all felt it was the right decision, and no regrets about not going to Aintree next week and having one last stab at the Grand National.
I think I've had that many stabs. I think there's holes in the Grand National for me. But no, look, I sort of made a decision running up to Cheltenham, and between Fiona and Dave Roberts and Philip Hobbs and Henry Daly, I spoke to. They were the key people I wanted to make sure knew sort of what was going on, and I felt that that was, once I made that decision, over the last sort of fortnight, we would sort of get it done. We just obviously it sort of it was not quite it wasn't easy to find the right day, but it was just Philip had some nice rides down at Newton Abbot yesterday, and yes, it would have been lovely to have a winner and probably bow out that way. But again, actually, it was just lovely to. I was, and I feel slightly bad for Rob Stevens. When I sort of I got off his horse in the last race because I wanted my last ride to be for Philip, because again, he's been a huge part of my career. To have someone behind you that literally backs you 100%, and takes everything in his stride and never tries to sort of throw blame anywhere. It's to have someone like him behind me has been a huge part of my career, and so that was the only, I think, important thing for me, was to definitely finish on one of Philip's.
Why do you two get on so well? And have you ever had a cross word?
No, well, you better ask Philip later, but I don't think so. I think we look like everybody. We all want winners. We all want to do well, but I think Philip's very level-headed, and that probably I'm sure actually when I was younger I probably wasn't so level-headed, but hopefully I think Philip probably rubbed off on me, really, because I think we work together well, but he's very calm, and he's delighted to have a winner at Newton Abbot, or obviously delighted to have a winner at Cheltenham Festival, but at the same time he doesn't get over the top, but he doesn't also get very down or very frustrated when sometimes things go wrong, or things aren't quite working in the right way, and I think that's a huge help to me, and has been again over my career, because it's kept me sort of hopefully sort of quite level-headed as well. And even when I speak to him on the way home, he can almost, even when I'm very frustrated, by the time I finish the conversation, he's put it into perspective, and then we're almost looking forward to the next day.
I mean, you talk about the fact that you might get frustrated, but you very, very rarely would show it on a racecourse. And certainly we wouldn't see it. One of the things that Dave was talking about earlier, and everyone said, is how even your temperament seemed to be, and you had the perfect temperament for the job. But you simply can't be that nice to be a top-class sportsman, can you? In there's got to be some real steel.
I'd like to think that I definitely have always been very determined, but I think I've tried to always do my best I can, and I think as long as I know I'm doing my best, then Jimmy, obviously I can't do a lot more, but I think as well it's I'm not quite sure how Henry Daly joked with me last night on the phone that I had one moment of madness at Hereford many years ago when I was riding for the Plumleys for him on a very nice horse that had already won a bumper, and then was running a novice hurdle, and I'd obviously had a bad day, or something had obviously upset me through the day, and I got off and I wasn't very polite to Mr. and Mrs. Plumley, and they're fantastic owners and lovely people, and I don't know, I just literally lost my temper, or lost my cool, and I walked in, and I even a minute later I was like, what have I just said? And they joke about it now, but yeah, it was a good lesson for me that, you know, I never rode that horse again, and quite rightly so. And I think that, you know, there's you know, things you learn as you grow up. But yeah, luckily enough, I've, you know, had you know, good people to sort of around me to sort of guide me in the right direction as well, and hopefully that all helps.
Could you ever remember wanting to do anything else other than be a jockey?
No, I think even when I was very small, it was be a jockey or be a farmer, and I thought farming looked quite hard work when I was, you know, growing up at home. So I thought this being a jockey looks much more fun. You gallop around on a horse every day, and yeah, so you know, that was the basics of my decision to want to be a jockey. But again, it you know, I had you know, growing up with ponies and everything on the farm, I was very, very fortunate to have, you know, that sort of start in life. And you know, when I went to David Nicholson's, I went when I was still at school for a couple of weeks, simply in the holidays, to see whether I did like it or not. And again, you know, everybody at the Dukes at that time, you know, was very good to me, and you know, I've still got so many friends that even when I started, you know, going there in my school holidays. So it's I seem to have had a very easy sort of road to what, you know, to what's been my career. So I really, all I want to do is say thank you to everybody that sort of supported me along the way.
I wanted to talk a little bit towards the end about your relationship with AP McCoy, and particularly that season after he'd retired. And there you are, you're expected now to be champion jockey. I'd love to know exactly how you were feeling in those first couple of months after he retired. And in a sense, if that was difficult for you.
I think, I remember when he announced it at Newbury, I say I was shocked, but I sort of, you know, he sort of mentioned to me that, I'm not sure I believed him because I thought, oh, he'll never retire. But it was then the shock. But then, yeah, I think it was, until at Sandown when he did retire, I think, yeah, there was parts of me thinking, God, if I this is my big chance as such. But I think, God, if I'm not champion this year, I'll be a bit of a letdown, really. But yeah, you know, that following season, again, you know, the support I had from owners, trainers, even every day I went racing. Do you mean there was people, you know, even in the summer at Stratford and Worcester to, you know, Perth at the end of the season. It was, you know, that definitely, yeah, touched me. That, you know, the people that almost were willing me to, you know, to do that.
And in terms of steeling yourself in that period, to kind of to keep driving, essentially, if you haven't got that target of McCoy to aim at, to motivate yourself, was that harder without him in a way?
I think it definitely wasn't harder, because it just, like, you know, Dave Roberts as well, you know, he's, you know, through my whole career, he's been there, and obviously he was, you know, also AP's agent, and everyone couldn't understand how we could have the same agent, because they thought it was like a conflict of interest. But, you know, when we rode for different people, and you know, it did work anyway, and you know, he's been hugely, you know, part of the reason my sort of, I think, consistency as well through the years. But at the same time, you know, I think Dave was as driven as I was. He was almost determined to make sure we got it done. And like I say, it sort of, I think as well, success breeds success. And like I remember that season, we just started off and we got on a roll, and it just seemed to, in a weird way, the season flew by, because we, you know, again, I was very lucky. I avoided any injuries that year. I don't think I got any suspensions. It just seemed to, everything fell into place. And like I say, it almost felt like people were, everybody seemed to have my sort of best interests at heart, which again, it was, you know, very, very touching that people actually almost wanted me to do well, which I was, yeah, you know, you know, I think sometimes in sport or any industry, everyone thinks of it's a very one-sided thing for each individuals on their own. But especially that year, I just felt that everybody was sort of on my team.
And a lot of people have been on your team ever since. A lot of people were on your team before then as well, for all the reasons that Dave said at the beginning of the programme. You're obviously going to be around the house a bit more now, Dickie, or maybe you're not. What's the plan?
I think, well, I'll definitely be at home more, and I think Vienna deserves a bit more support at home. But with 3 children, it's always a busy house. But again, I'm very, very lucky. I'm home at sort of the family farm, and I'll definitely be much more involved with that. Hopefully, I've got to go back to school probably to learn what to do. But yeah, we've been breeding horses here as well for sort of 8 to 10 years now as well. So we've got plenty of young horses around, and there's lots to do with them. And I think, when people always say, "Oh, what are you going to do when you retire?" But I've never really wanted to be a trainer. I love the horses, but I think I've seen how hard it is as well for everybody else. So I think I'll skip that one. But I think it's just now waiting to see perhaps what other options are out there, and what we can do and what we can be involved with. I've had so much fun and success with racing. I never want to not be involved, and just see how see what comes up, I suppose. But I definitely won't be short of things to do at home with the family and the farm and the horses. So there's plenty to do already. I actually need to go out and put the mares and foals out in the field now.
If there's a 15, 16-year-old boy or girl watching this programme now and looking at evergreen Richard Johnson bringing a glorious career to a surprise end, what advice would you give them?
I think the most important thing is you've got to be around good people. I was very, very lucky, starting off with David Nicholson. First of all, Jimmy, I think that was my first, my mum and dad's first good move for me, because I went there, and I think if you work for the good people and you're surrounded by good people, and you work hard, there's no reason why everybody can't have hopefully the career they dream of. But again, you the most important thing is you enjoy what you do. I think that's been the huge reason that I've probably had the longevity that I have. I've actually again been surrounded by great people, but really enjoyed day-to-day life, and I feel very, very grateful for that.
Richard, congratulations. It's Dave here on a wonderful career. What do those gold letters say behind you?
Oh gosh, I got home last night and the children have been busy putting things up. We are so proud of you. So that's quite nice to hear, because I'm not sure they'd say that very often. So, but yeah, so it's I think Fiona and the kids were busy. The only good thing about lockdown is probably otherwise I'd have come home to a sort of maybe a huge number of people as well. So it was, at least it wasn't too crazy last night, and I think we can hopefully, I'm sure in the summer we'll start to enjoy catching up with everybody, and there's so many people that I need to thank and I need to get in touch with. But like I say, it's been very overwhelming for the last sort of 12 hours. But it's just been an amazing sort of. I think it was almost the way I was delighted to go out, and I drove back home on my own last night, and the phone never stopped beeping and buzzing, and that in itself was it's just a lovely feeling that people are sort of not happy to see me go, but it gave me the right sort of message that that they were pleased that I'd finished in one piece, and I think my mum and dad are probably my mum that now can probably watch racing. I don't think she's ever watched racing for the last 27 years, so she can probably enjoy watching racing again now.
They should be very proud, and so should you. Well done.
Thank you very much, Dave.
I echo all of Dave's thoughts. Been an absolute pleasure to deal with, and I hope we carry on having plenty to say to Richard Johnson as a breeder and a commentator and whatever else the future holds. Dickie, don't go away, and do stay watching, because we've been in touch with a few of your colleagues over the years, and this is what they've had to say.
Congratulations on a fantastic career, and well done for getting out in one piece. Thank you very much for all the memories, and thank you very much for all the help along the way. Enjoy your retirement, and best of luck in the next chapter.
Richard Johnson, Absolute gentleman. Lucky to work with him for a number of years, and I always looked up to him, a role model to everyone, just the way he conducted himself in the weigh room, conducted himself in a race. He was just the cleanest rider, but yet the hardest man to beat. From the back of the last, he was him and Tony McCoy. If they landed beside you, you were in big trouble. But it's quite sad. It's always sad. It's the end of an era. Dickie, you've been an absolute legend. You will be sadly missed, and I wish you and all your family the very best. Thank you.
Dickie, I wish you all the best in your retirement. You've deserved it. You've had a fantastic career, and you should be very proud of what you've achieved, and I wish you all the best.
Congratulations on your retirement, Richard. A fantastic career, the ultimate professional. It was a pleasure to be sat next to you for so many years. Pity we couldn't send you out on a winner on your last day. I hope that wasn't the reason why you retired riding a couple of our horses, but look, I hope you have a great retirement, and I'm sure we'll see you before too long.
Wishing Richard Johnson the best of luck in his next chapter. He's had an incredible career, and he's been a role model to us all, and it's been a pleasure to work alongside him and for such a long time with the Philip Hobbs team. Happy retirement, champ.
Hey Dickie, I just want to say congratulations. I'm sure the decision you made yesterday wasn't one that you took lightly. I know it wasn't, because we all have to make it at some stage. But I must say I've admired you all your career. Your commitment, your dedication, the hunger, your attitude to work, your acceptance of pain. But the way you did it, your manner, your personality, you've without doubt been a role model for all of us. And I wish you the very best of luck in the future. And I'm sure this morning you have a very happy wife and 3 very proud children. Best of luck.
Dickie, it's been an honour and a pleasure to have sat next to you and competed with you for so many years now. You've been a fantastic ambassador for the sport, and nobody could have done any more than what you've done and achieved over the years, both in and out of the saddle. You're an inspiration to everybody. You're one of the kindest, toughest people there's ever been the pleasure of knowing, and I hope you have a long and happy retirement, and that Fee and the kids get to see a little bit more of you. Take care.
Hi Dickler, Hutch here. Just wanted to wish you and the family all the best for the future, and congratulations on a fantastic career in the saddle. I, for one, was a huge admirer of you in the saddle, but most of all, out of the saddle as a person. All the best, mate. Take care.
Hi Dickie, just want to congratulate you on the most amazing career. I have to admit, this is about the 25th time that I've tried to do this video. With getting a little bit emotional, trying to find the words that can do you justice, it's not possible. You're a brilliant person. You are the most professional jockey in every way. You were the ultimate competitor, a great person to be in the weigh room every day, a very fair person, and someone that was always kind and helpful to everyone. I would like to thank you for everything that you did for horse racing. I'm not going to thank you for everything you did for me, because for 20 years I had nightmares about you, because I knew that I had the most difficult job trying to compete every day with you. You had a great talent, but you had an even greater work ethic, and that's something you can be very, very proud of. I would like to give you a little bit of advice in retirement, but I'm probably not the person, because it's a very hard thing to try and ever replace something that you're going to have to try and do, because you're a worker. You've got the best out of your career. You've got everything out of your career. You're very lucky that you will have no regrets, and you couldn't have done any better. So all I can say is look back and try and enjoy it the next few days, and then just try and move forward. But congratulations, and from everyone, thanks a million.
4 times champion jockey Richard Johnson, your weighing room colleagues have saluted you. So do we. All the best, sir.
Thank you very much.
I think somebody might have been chopping onions in here, Dave.